tuned into the 2 Hour After Dark, where we lower our inhibitions and let it all hang. This is a podcast for you guys, where we talk about current events and our personal thoughts on the matters of today, with a nasty twist. If you like what we're doing, make sure you support us on our Patreon. We'll see you there.
We are back with the first edition of 2 Hour After Dark, man. A special segment for the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast, man. We're back at home base, Dawa Studios, downtown Austin, Texas, man. I'm Trot with Zeus, one half of the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast, and I got my co-host
Saint. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Man, so for those that don't know, man, 2 Hour After Dark. So we had some discussions behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We've been doing all the interviews. But the thing is, we haven't got a chance to do like the old school episodes, like the super unfiltered, say whatever, shooting from the hip types, from the hip type of content.
Yeah.
So I was like, dog, we got to figure out a way to bring it back. And the homie Ever threw us the lob.
Shout out to Ever.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie Ever, man. He was like, bro, why don't y'all do this shit but do it like a Patreon?
Yeah.
Give the listeners special content that they wouldn't normally get via YouTube or via Spotify or whatever, platforms y'all listening to, man. So, here we are. Got the homie with us. Got Ever.
You ready to
rock?
rock?
We back at it, man. Let's get to it, man.
Yeah, man.
So, man, let's get started, bro. So, I know we're talking about current events.
Let's talk about it.
I know we're talking about, off the top, what, Michael Orr?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about Michael Orr.
Okay, so... Have you read? So, for those that don't know, Michael Orr is offensive lineman for the Baltimore Ravens for a few years.
Blindside.
Played it right. Blindside, the movie.
Right.
Played at Ole Miss, Pro Bowler, et cetera, right? So, the movie was such a big deal in like what the late aughts, right? Like this offensive lineman. In high school, he came from the bottoms. He couldn't read. His mama was on crack. He got pulled out of the ghetto.
White woman.
Got pulled out of the ghetto by this savior, rich Mississippi white family that took this broke, illiterate black man and fed him and clothed him.
Oh baby.
And transformed him into the Pro Bowl player he is today. Right? So, there was this whole narrative, apparently, like the family, the Tuohys, whatever, right? So, apparently, story just broke a couple days ago, right? And for the longest, the narrative behind the movie was really weird, bro. Like, I remember Michael Orr, it was reports coming out over the years, like, that he didn't like how they portrayed him in the movie. Like, he got portrayed as unintelligent. Or that he couldn't read, or X, Y, Z, and he was like, "Fam, I was just dyslexic and I didn't know it." Right? Like he's like, that's all it was. Yeah. Like I was just dyslexic as a kid and I wasn't diagnosed. So no, I wasn't unintelligent. I just had a bit of a learning disability that I recovered from.
No, they had him like he was on the small bus.
Yeah, that movie. I'm like, fam, he looked real green mileage. And I remember watching it then. I'm like, dog, this feels weird, bro. Like, am I tripping? Like, this shit feels weird as hell. So, fast forward to today. Apparently, the story broke that he actually was not adopted by this family. Right, so that was a narrative all along. Like he got adopted, because his parents didn't want to do, they didn't want to be his caretakers or whatever. And come to find out is what's being alleged. There's a whole suit. It's like a 14-page document. Yeah. Right. There's a whole suit that he wasn't adopted. What he signed was papers for a conservatorship.
Oh.
Right, and. For anybody that doesn't know what a conservatorship, Britney Spears.
Yes.
Right? Britney Spears was fucking under this umbrella of her dad. She had no say-so over anything that was going on in her life, her finances, whatever you can think of. She had no control over her own life, apparently. Yeah. This is what the Tuohy family had Michael Orr sign rather than adoption papers. And he just found this out. So the whole time he thinking like, this is my family. Right. They've adopted me. Right. I like, XYZ. Right? So in addition to that, bro, come to find out, when the movie The Blind Side came out, he actually never got any profit.
Yeah,
like he never
that.
like, you know, got any financial profit from that.
Yeah.
But because he was under their conservatorship, they had full control over the finances, and they set up the contracts in a way to where their children
will benefit
get
off that,
residuals,
and he doesn't get a
from
dollar.
that movie, and he gets nothing, bro.
Yo, how foul!
And I'm like, dog, that, bro, like, that's, fam,
how
that's like the lowest of the fucking low, bro. Like,
so okay, we got to talk about this, because
Okay.
we gotta ask a very important question.
Okay.
And it's definitely dealing with race, right? Because
Mississippi.
this is definitely mooching. Like,
Okay.
this is self-evident mooching right here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? One, I'm gonna say this. Do you think Michael Oher has a case of getting any money back at all?
Potentially.
Okay. Tell me why.
Under the guise of he may have signed these conservatorship documents, and they intentionally withheld like the information that it was a conservatorship.
Mm-hmm.
If he can prove that, or if his attorneys can prove that, then I think he got a case.
Okay.
But it's kind of rough just because of the fact that at that point in time, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's a kid, but he had just turned 18 when he signed it.
Right.
That's the only part.
Right.
Now, if he can prove that, then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. It just feels nasty.
Yeah,
like
it
feels gross. But what I will say, in hindsight,
mm-hmm.
I'm actually not the most surprised, dog. Just because their family, bro, like they own a whole bunch of Taco Bells in Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah, okay. That's how they got their bread. Like, that's how they got their bread.
Okay.
So the fucking dad is like a fucking Ole Miss booster. He's an Ole Miss booster. He hooped at Ole Miss, but he was trash. So he was one of the dudes that walked on, never played.
Yeah.
And after that, he just,
stayed connected.
Right, he stayed connected, but he started owning these Taco Bells and fucking just became a booster because of that. But I'm like, fam. And the thing is, I'm a big opponent of capitalism, dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like, so
you know your views.
Yeah. So I feel like the type of family that's in charge of like major corporations and businesses, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's already some skepticism to be had, because you got to think of the fast food business, bro. Nigga, wage theft.
Yeah.
All kind of shit, any kind of service industry shit, bro. Shit at the top looks funny.
It looks funny. Always.
And so when you get those type of people, and they fucking are in charge of this black man now that has basically at this point no real protection. You know what I mean? Like his parents, the parents that were around, they're not necessarily versed in what exactly is happening. They just think just some rich white people are providing my kid with some resources.
Right, with some help.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But whole time it's starting to look like it's some fucking ulterior motives, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and even in the movie, like I remember in the movie, bro, like there was this whole NCAA investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he was first getting recruited, and there was this black lady, bro. There was this black lady that pressed him.
Oh, word.
Yeah, there was this black lady that pressed him specifically. Like they interviewed this nigga by himself, all this shit. And it was like, and she was like, well, whoa. What if this whole thing was just a ploy to get this young black man to, and reap billions off of his labor and da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, she called it.
She might have fucking called it.
She might have fucking called it.
Like,
damn it.
She picked up on that shit, and like, this was like 2005 when the shit was actually happening.
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yikes.
So
heed the words of the prophet.
Yeah, it just, bro, it feels nasty. Like, thank goodness that at this point he has family, like, because I think he's married. Like, I think he's married, got kids. Like, I think he's got
his own life. Yeah,
right. Like he's living a happy life at this point. He made it to the league. He got his bread.
Yeah,
like, he got his NFL money, and he's doing well as far as I'm aware. But imagine, bro, like people that you look at as your family, dog. Like you've been in their house, you stayed there for years. You look at the kids as your siblings and all that, bro. Like. And whole time, bro, nigga, they taking millions off of your black back, your big black back, and they getting bread.
Your whole empire is mine. Half your empire is mine, my boy.
And I'm like,
that's crazy.
And so, bro, like, and also,
you're now tuned into the 2 Hour After Dark, where we lower our inhibitions and let it all hang out. This is a podcast for you guys, where we talk about current events and our personal thoughts on the matters of today, with a nasty twist. If you like what we're doing, make sure you support us on our Patreon. We'll see you there.